Alright folks, the CS52C is going on sale for 8,250 gold only in the garage in the shop. So no loot box, no special event tie-in, just straight up selling of this vehicle. That's a rarity nowadays, but we'll talk about the bundles for bonds later on. So how good is this vehicle? Well, it's not exactly a new tank. It has been collecting dust for about 2 years now. So practically a turret from a tier 10 CS63 on the body of a tier 8, the CS53. So it does have the turbo mode, but not the 105 from the tier 10. So it's still like a Borer-esque scenario, tier 10 turret on a tier 8 body, or 59 pattern. If you have a 105, you don't have a 105, you have a freaking 90mm, 100mm technically. Was it 100mm or 90? It was the 90 on the 59 pattern. Ugh, gross. So this vehicle is not really that special. Originally the penetration was not as good as a standard, about 200 or 220 for medium tanks, and the alpha damage wasn't as good as the Fox, the LIS, the CS52 LIS, but it has been collecting dust, so might as well dust off this vehicle and straight up sell it for actual gold. So the main comparison is maybe the Fox, maybe a T-44-100, so mostly about mobility, especially with the turbo mode, getting into special positions or key position and utilize the gun, but DPM is not as good as the Fox. So there are a few downsides for the mobility, but 100mm, not the 105. Penetration has been buffed by 18mm compared to originally at 190, so that's a plus. They nerfed the gold shell from 290 to 270. 290mm pen high explosive anti-tank is pretty good at tier 8 especially, but they nerfed it. Buffed the shell velocity of the high explosive anti-tank though. So DPM is not great. Accuracy is okay. No, not really. And aim time is subpar, so yeah, 0.37 accuracy is not that great. I mean, it is crew of 4, so does fit all the Polish medium tanks, but yeah, the firepower on this gun is kind of wonky, especially the lower DPM, so that's about standard or so, but compare this to the LIS has 100 more DPM. The Fox has 100 more DPM. The T-44-100 also has about like 200 more DPM. So DPM is not that great, but aim time is kind of long and accuracy is kind of wonky for a 100mm, but then again, usually it's about 90ish millimeter at tier 8, give or take. Gun depression is alright, elevation is alright, traverse is quick though. Penetration has been buffed like I said, but alpha damage is still kind of average or so. But yeah, this gun is not as strong as the Fox. Definitely not as good alpha damage, so doesn't have the surprise hit. But yeah, DPM is also lower by 150 or so. Does have better traverse dispersion for moving the hull and traversing, but not as good for the turret traverse dispersion. That could be mitigated with the vertical stabilizer. It's workable, but not great. Also not as good accuracy and not as good aim time. Not as big of a caliber too. Less module damage. So only good thing about this gun is faster shell velocity, carries more ammo, a lot more ammo. So definitely could spam more, has better potential damage, but that's about it. The same pen for AP round, but high explosive anti-tank has 270mm of pen, which is not bad compared to about 250 APCR. So your gold shell does punch a little bit harder, but I don't know. It's kind of if, right? The gun feels kind of if. It's about the turbo mode. So you can go into turbo mode, but dispersion while moving dramatically becomes worse, like with the tier 10. So as expected, but you have better top speed now, so let's take a look at armor before we talk about the speed. But armor wise, the tier 8's body with a tier 10's turret, it looks good for the turret armor on paper, 260, but that's only for the mantlet. It's not for the rest of the turret, so that's a bait. That's a red herring. Health is average, not that special, but only 80mm on the hull front and 60 for the hull sides. Is there a V shape? No, it's not. It's not a V shape. There is a weird sponson jutting out, so you could be caught off guard, like with the turret ring support right here. Yeah, it's still 100mm surprisingly, but yeah, 60 for the actual hull sides, 100 for the turret ring. Yeah, hull armor is not that great. 70 for the upper plate. Where the hell is it 80? You said 80 on paper, it's only 70. 50 at some areas. Ugh. The roof of the hull is dirty. 60, 40 around the driver hatch. Where the hell is it 80? In the beak? Oh, okay, it's the middle. Between the upper plate and bottom plate. That's the actual 80 part. It's not great. So hull armor is not great. Only the mantlet and the surrounding gun is 260. Otherwise, it's only 85. So you could throw a few shots, like with the tier 10. If they shoot directly by auto-clicking the right mouse button, and they'll shoot into the mantlet, it will bounce. But otherwise, you'll get pinned in the turret. But, okay. Yeah, fine, whatever. It's all about the mobility of this vehicle, the turbo mode. So nothing really gets changed. The same horsepower per ton ratio as with the super test, going into the turbo mode. So 50 km/h top speed going into 70, and better reverse speed as well, but takes about 2.5 seconds switching into turbo mode, and 1.5 switching back, but weighs about 40-ish tons. Theoretically, you could go ramming light tanks, like 10-ton, 20-ton light tanks, but I wouldn't recommend it. Still takes off some health, but still, turbo mode is a thing. Yeah, hull traverse is quick, but terrain resistance on this vehicle is also not as good. Yeah, definitely not as good as with the Fox. It's 2.5 for soft. It gets bogged down. Like really bogged down. About 40-ish km/h top speed going through mud, even in turbo mode. In non-turbo mode, it's 26. Hull traverse for mud is also slow. So definitely not as good of a terrain resistance in comparison to something like T-44-100. T-44-100, that thing has amazing terrain resistance. Yeah, definitely not as good, not as nimble as a T-44-100, unless you're in turbo mode, but still not as good terrain resistance. Yeah, definitely not as good. So it's about running in a straight line than actual mobility, right? So, I mean, people like the CS63. I like the Leopard 1 better, but to each his own, right? I don't know. But terrain resistance, definitely not really the best for a medium tank. Camo is alright, not half bad, but you do get crappier camo in turbo mode. So don't forget, you think you have better camo in turbo mode, that's not the case, so you will be spotted running about in turbo mode. I mean, it's not like flames jutting out from your vent holes or exhaust. How the hell do you have less camo in turbo mode? You cannot really see it, right? I don't know, whatever, it's balancing. Alright. Same view range, same radio as with the Fox, so not really that special, but yep, there you go, that vehicle. Practically the same as with the super test. So originally 190mm pin AP round. Not great, definitely not great. Same alpha damage, but gold shell is better by 20mm. So yeah, definitely better performance for the gold shell, but not as good for the regular shells. One chooses to spam more gold shell, but they buffed the shell velocity on the high explosive anti-tank from 750-ish to, I think it was 800 or so. Let's see, high explosive, yeah, 880. So they buffed the shell velocity of the high explosive anti-tank, but nerfing the penetration. But that's practically the only change, buffing the AP round so buffing the penetration of AP and keeping the shell velocity. So yeah, 190 is not really good. In today's meta, that's the old meta. Old, like 7, 8, 9 years ago meta, that's the average penetration of tier A mediums. Now it's about 220, so meh. Meh, collecting dust for 2 years, so... Alright, equipment is practically the same as with the Fox or any other combat versatile medium tank. It's versatile. So, tier 8 versatile mediums. You have stuff like the T-44-100. Very nimble. Penetration is not great. 190. Original pen. But DPM with the rammer, not half bad, right? So, yeah, equipment-wise, yeah, definitely rammer. I will still say rammer. Turbocharger also make it go faster in turbo mode. So, yeah, optics is not bad, but yeah, that's a standard loadout for practically all my medium tanks. You could put vertical stabilizer, but I still think it's alright. It's not that bad of dispersion, other than the turret, but you could mitigate it by playing a little bit slower, slightly slower. But you could put, I don't want to say wasting experimental equipments like with the experimental mobility system. This help out with the dispersion while buffing the mobility as well, but this is overkill for tier 8. That's not that special, so not really. So standard loadout, turbocharger, optics, rammer, pretty simple. But field mods wise, tier 8s are not that dramatic, so less penalty to damage ammo rack or engine, or better hull traverse and turret traverse. I would say better traverse, especially with kind of crappy terrain resistance. Better traverse. Dispersion while moving or aim circle size. If you're shooting and moving a lot, which you definitely should do with paper armor vehicles, then dispersion while moving and hull traverse. Even though it's already great, this might be one of the rare scenario where you choose better aim circle size. Might be. Might be really. Since the dispersion while traversing the turret is kind of crap. Let's just do this in the actual tab, since you already have the vehicle. But, yeah. Traverse is already quick. You could have less penalty to damage ammo rack and engine. Yeah, this one might be a little bit better for damage ammo rack. Unless you do get hit a lot, yeah, choose the first one. So, unless you're planning on sniping in the back, then choose the first one. Fine, this one's a toss-up. It's up to you. So, if you're sniping, better traverse. If you're more aggressive, better protection, less penalty. But second one is accuracy or 0.38. Ugh. Let's play around. I need to play around. I highly recommend you play around with tanks.gg before you get the actual equipments or the field mods, wasting the credits to buy the field mods. But yeah, play around with tanks.gg. So let's see. It doesn't change that much. It doesn't really change that much. Go with better accuracy. Better accuracy. Dispersion while moving. It's not for turret traverse, unfortunately. So yeah, better accuracy. Go with better accuracy. And finally, camo or reverse speed. Drive around in a circle, don't reverse. Go with better camo. Camo is very good for scouting in some scenario where you don't have a light tank to scout for you. I would say better camo. And base camo of 20 is not bad without the camouflage bonus. That's pretty good. So I would say camo. But originally I rated this vehicle. Let's see. When was it? CS52C from August 18 of 2022. Rating 4 out of 10. Yeah, original penetration was not good. It's power crap. Yeah, power crap blast from the past, practically. But in comparison to the Fox, not as good. It did get buffed with the actual penetration, but DPM also seems to get a little bit buffed, right? Yeah, DPM gets slightly buffed by 100. So firepower does tend to perform slightly better, but same old aim time, same old accuracy, kind of crap. Yep. Practically the same. So let's cancel everything. Yeah. Slightly better aim time. That's good. Slightly better aim time. But yeah, accuracy is still kind of crap. I don't know. It feels like a 5 now. Maybe the buff to the penetration is not bad, but gold shell is still workable, right? But it doesn't feel that great. Turbo mode might come into play, might be handy, but there are vehicles with very good mobility at tier 8. 𝗕𝗭𝘂𝗶𝗽𝘀, the actual Fox. There are vehicles that are faster, right? This thing feels pretty average all across the board, so nothing really stands out. It is for gold. That's a plus, but yeah, in the field of actual versatile tier 8 medium tanks, it's like average in speed and mobility. So, well, let's see. By stats, by, let's say DPM of tier 8 medium tanks. Yeah, you're not competing against a Kampfpanzer 07RH. Definitely. Not even close. Or slower titties. But yeah, DPM is middle of the pack. Middle of the barrel. Kind of meh. Kind of whatever. Let's see, mobility wise, horsepower per ton ratio is not the greatest. Yeah, definitely not the greatest. Ugh. 𝗕𝗭𝘂𝗶𝗽𝘀. That needs a buff. That's the only good thing going for it. So 17 is also middle of the barrel too, so kind of meh. But let's see, top speed 50 for baseline. Top is 65. Kind of also middle of the barrel as well. Okay, but do have the turbo mode. Penetration, it's nothing to write home about. Yeah, definitely not even close. Yeah, middle of the barrel yet again. At least it's better than the 𝗕𝗭𝘂𝗶𝗀. So yeah, old medium tanks with 190mm pin, 185 for the preferential matchmaking. But yeah, okay, it seems very average, right? Very average. 5 out of 10. At least it gets a buff. At least it gets a buff. That's a big plus. But yeah, 5 out of 10 from the original 4. At least you have a little bit better penetration and better aim time. And gold shell is still okay. But yeah, at least 5 out of 10 for this vehicle. So at least it's for gold. And it's actually relatively cheap of a tier 8 premium tank for gold. It's not as cheap as the Fox, surprisingly, but let's see. It does cost like 7,900 gold, 300 for the bundle. You're buying the garage slot as well. Yeah, about 7,900. But compare this to the Fox. The Fox is cheaper in gold. 6,700. And the Fox is better. In my opinion, the Fox is better. Better alpha damage, strike, better DPM, better dispersion while traversing the turret, and bigger caliber gun. Not as much ammo, but better terrain resistance. Doesn't have the turbo mode. I will gladly have better performing gun than the turbo mode, but that's up to you. So I will still say the Fox is better, especially for the cost for the actual gold amount, but 5 out of 10. So that's the first bundle. But what is also interesting is there should be 2 additional bundles of 3 improved equipments, bond equipments, for only the cost of 2 of them. So it costs about 5,000 bonds for 1 bond equipment, but now you're getting 3 for the cost of 2. Highly good incentive to buy this stuff, right? The first one is rammer, improved hardening, and vertical stabilizer. Very good choice, especially the rammer and the improved hardening. Both are very good choices. Vertical stabilizer could work if you feel the gun is crap for like Russian guns or Chinese guns in some scenarios, but yeah, definitely the rammer is very good. Couple that with the improved hardening costs like 6,000 too, right? It costs a little bit more. You don't sell it for credits, but can I buy it? Purchase. Yeah, it costs 6,000 bonds compared to about 5,000. Yeah, 5,000 bonds. It's definitely worthwhile. especially for getting a vertical stabilizer as well. So the first one is not bad, catering towards heavy tank playstyle. So first one, not bad. Second one is the turbocharger, the vents, and optics. Optics cost less, so this bundle, value-wise, is not as much as the first bundle. So unless you couple the improved hardening with the optics, that kind of balances it out. But yeah, the value of this one is not, it's definitely better than the second one. The second one is not as good. The optics cost less. I don't have the optics. Just go towards shop and you'll see it. But bods, equipments, you cannot even buy the turbocharger. It's 4,000 for the optics, so not bad, right? Still good. It's definitely not as good of a value compared to the first bundle, but still, you get the turbocharger out of it too. Turbocharger was available from, was it like, I forgot where the hell was it from. Was it like Onslaught? No, you get the improved hardening from Onslaught. You get the turbocharger from somewhere else. I totally forgot, but yeah, it's a very, I think it was still Onslaught, but it's a rare item. Very rare nowadays. So I got two. I think it was Onslaught. Oh, I forget. Don't care. Okay. So definitely a good pickup if you have the bonds, but a vehicle for gold and bundles for bonds. They want you to siphon some of the stuff, right? Which means assembly shop, black market, right? Caravan. Oh, caravan sucks, but the Russians already have the caravan, so we could see the caravan. So no spoiler for now, but yeah, they're siphoning, definitely symbolizing something to come if they're siphoning resources, right? But the bonds for the equipments, not bad, definitely not bad. If you are missing a few good bonds for your favorite vehicles, like the 𝗕𝗪-176, this one's not bad for 𝗕𝗪-176. All the stuff you need. Rammer, vertical stabilizer, more health. Not bad, right? Definitely not bad. But to each his own. So there you go, folks. The CS52C and the bundles for bonds. It's a siphoning process, but the vehicle's alright. It's mediocre, 5 out of 10. So as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Get on to rock, get up to burn, stand with the pride, ever feel your desire. One day I noticed that my